Welcome back. I'm Shaylee. This is my homeboy Cameron.
Yeah.
And that's my dad. And we're gonna react to 1985's.
Alright guys, these shows are for entertainment purposes only. I will be off camera today. Let me give a big shout out to all our subscribers, guys. Thank you guys so much. With that said, we're going to jump straight into it and pull up the display and get started, guys.
My friend has a crush on
The 1980s was a decade of bright colors, big hair, and lots of flair. If you grew up during that time, then I'm sure you have some fond memories. Some of the items that came out seemed futuristic at the time, but many of them have paved the way for how things are today. In this video, we will have a closer look at some of the fads of the 1980s.
Is that Hulk Hogan?
Yeah.
The Boombox was introduced to the American market during the late 1970s, but it was the 1980s when it became super popular. Some of these boomboxes were quite large and about the size of a suitcase. They required 8 to 10 D-cell batteries, which would last 6 to 8 hours, depending on whether or not you were using a cassette player. If you had one of these, then maybe you cranked up Van Halen or Bon Jovi, but there's a good chance that it was playing Run DMC, LL Cool J, or the Beastie Boys. The boombox would...
Hey guys, real quick, y'all make sure to check out our react to the Beastie Boys. Right back at it, guys.
Was heavily associated with urban communities, which is where it got the nickname Ghetto Blaster. Some cities tried to ban the stereos from being used in public places, and over time they became less acceptable on city streets. However, this was a necessary item when you were b-boying or b-girling and showing off your latest moves.
Look at them shorts,
the
guys.
boombox culture reached its peak in 1986 with 1 million units sold. Fast forward to 2003, and there were only 329,000 units sold. Personal listening devices such as the Walkman and the Discman were responsible for the decline of the boombox. Today, people have become accustomed to their smartphone and a Bluetooth speaker rather than a boombox. Breakdancing is a form of hip-hop dancing.
Alright, Shaylee. So, could you imagine, rather than carrying around your little phone, carrying around a big old beatbox ghetto blaster?
Me personally, I wouldn't, but...
What if everyone else was doing it?
Okay, and I ain't everybody else.
That appeared to defy human bendability and gravity. It was originally called breaking,
Franco.
media labeled it as
Franco.
If you've ever seen text behind something just like this, it's
actually
not hard, especially when stressed, so let me show you.
Just don't cook eggs.
This art form seems to have originated in Bronx, New York during the 1970s, but it was the 1980s when it exploded all over the world.
I wasn't that good.
B-boys
I could spin on the
and
back
B-girls
and
would
come out
face off
through
in
the
an
little...
impromptu dance competition where the only things
so
needed
fine
were
back in the
cardboard and a boombox. Oh, and of course a lot of practice. These highly talented and athletic dancers spent hours and hours perfecting their skills. Soon recess became a time when kids were doing the wave, caterpillar, top rock, down rock, windmills, head spins, and more. Although this 80s fad has died down, it has never really disappeared.
Is that John
Stamos?
Stamos?
Had a continual influence in the hip-hop, rap, and pop music world.
He's that hot guy from Full House.
Breakdancers got down at the Vatican before Pope John Paul II.
John Stamos.
Breakdancing will also be breaking its way into Paris during the 2024 Olympics.
Look at this.
The one that banged her ass.
Hey,
that old lady.
Kids, grandparents,
He's
and
still
even
doing it,
dogs
bro.
busting a move.
Yo.
If you were a kid in the 80s, then the word parachute means something. Most kids played with a huge parachute and
I never got
to do that.
Did y'all?
No, we never got to do that.
Parachute
That's
pants.
a bull crap.
These were made of the same nylon that real parachutes were made of, but they often had pockets with zippers. These pants made a statement for a couple years in the 1980s.
All the older kids go, let me wear your
If you had these
jacket.
rat
Never had
pants,
that.
then it
There was
wouldn't
always
look bad.
somebody else sporting.
All you youngsters out
That's
there, that
Let me
means
wear
it's good. The pants were usually
I'm rocking the
tight-fitting,
pants,
but
looking like a
breathable,
nerd
and
matching
became
this
extremely
video.
popular when everyone was trying out the latest breakdancing moves.
It's Robin.
These cool pants came in a variety of colors.
Who said they were
The
cool?
popular ones were
I
black,
fuck
gray,
with them.
and red.
Great.
I mean, the red one was
They're making their way back around.
All kinds of
William
Moved
Afton.
on to the next fad. This is one
So you'd rock 'em
fashion
now?
trend that has
Heck
never
no.
come back.
Those?
Perhaps one day they will parachute back down into style.
What's that mean?
What's the
I'm
material?
done.
It's
The
like a
Rubik's
finger.
Cube is
I
a
know what they
3D
are.
combination
That wasn't
puzzle
that
that
far
was
off,
invented in
yeah.
Hungary in 1974.
My boy Isaac knew
It was
Chevy
this.
originally
loves
called
her
the Magic Cube, but
Rubik's
it was
Cube,
licensed
so
by
somebody
the
broke
inventor Erno Rubik to be sold by the
I
Ideal
didn't break
Toy
it, I
Company
just took
in
it.
1980. Each side of the
Terrible.
cube had a different color,
You're
and the
terrible.
object of the puzzle was to make all sides
Whatever
match
color's
the
in the middle,
respective
that's the
color.
side that the
The
color's
Rubik's
gonna be
Cube
at.
became super popular in the 1980s, and almost every household had one. Some people could solve this puzzle very quickly, while others could not.
Well, that just
If
gave
you
us
were
the
one of
answer.
those that couldn't, then you might have just peeled the stickers off and
That's
placed
what
them
I
back
did.
on there in matching order.
They started making them so you
You could
could
have
pull
also
stickers.
taken it apart
Yeah,
and
I
put
know
it back
people used to
together.
do that.
Eventually, cheat books came out to help people solve it, but some people still said this was useless.
Yeah.
Throughout the years, there have been multiple competitions where people test their skills in solving
Some
it
people just
quickly.
die.
World
Yeah,
record was set in 2018 at
3.47
3.47 seconds. Some people consider this puzzle the original fidget toy, as it came out long before any fidget spinner could ever think about. The Rubik's Cube may not be as popular with the
That
masses as it once
thing ain't gonna
was,
help
but
me
they
be
are
stressed.
still
That
a
thing will
beloved
make me
classic
stressed.
puzzle. Over 100 million cubes have been sold since they emerged on the market.
My boy getting them blisters from working hard.
Pac-Man is one of the longest-running, best-selling, and
Yeah, I
highest-grossing
got those
video
from
game
Porn at
franchises
Cuba
in
now.
history.
That was crazy.
This game was released on May 22nd,
Pac-Man.
1980, and it quickly took the world by storm in arcades as well as the
Blinky.
Atari
Blinky.
game system.
I got my
The
Blinky.
franchise
My
issued
Blinky.
folders,
And Clyde.
pencils, shirts,
Blinky,
bed sheets,
Pinky,
board
Inky,
games,
and
and more.
Clyde.
There was even a
They
hit
all
song
match
called
and then
I
Pac-Man
don't remember
Fever.
their names.
Pac-Man remains
showed
one
up.
of the most recognizable video game characters in history and is a 1980s cultural icon.
Yeah.
This yellow pie-shaped Pac-Man character travels around a maze eating dots and trying to avoid ghosts that are hunting him. The game was a breakaway from the space or shooting style arcade games that
Not
were out
gonna
at
rock
the
in them
time.
Barney pants.
In
It
1982,
was like
an
Barney
estimated
outfit,
30
dude.
million Americans spent more than $8 million a week playing Pac-Man. They were
Americans spent
feeding
$8
quarter
million
after
a week
quarter
on
into
Pac-Man.
machines located in arcades,
Put a lot
pizza
of quarters
joints,
because you can't
bowling
even get a
alleys, and
couple of
bars.
Yeah.
People were
Quarter
playing this
lasts
game
probably
so
a
much
minute.
that many towns
Red
across
chase
the
is
U.S.
easy.
passed statutes or
spent
regulations to
$1,500
restrict the
usually.
game.
Majority of people don't
The
get past
Plains,
the first
Illinois
round.
banned people under the age
I
of
did.
21 from playing the game unless they were accompanied by their parents. Marshfield, Massachusetts.
It'd be different trying to get to a high
outright.
score back in the day.
Other
compared to
towns
now.
and cities issued licensing and zoning to restrict
That
arcades from
guy's
selling
giving me
food
checks
or
on
being
the
Like
too
you play on
close
your
to a
phone, you're gonna
school.
get to the high score.
Parents
faster than
became
people
worried about
online,
kids
Right.
being consumed
behind
with the
you
game
and
and
just
not
on the
focusing
machine.
on
And people are
studies.
more
This is a very similar thought
cognitive,
process to what many parents think about kids with
motor
tablets
function
and phones.
skills
In the
now.
70s, kids don't judge too quickly. This also happened in many places across the U.S. with pinball machines.
I remember
The
seeing Dad try to play
1980s changed the
Nintendo.
way we look at music forever.
Couldn't do it.
MTV debuted just after midnight on August 1st,
That's like Adult
1981,
Swim.
with the broadcast of Video Killed the Radio Star.
Video
In the
killed
beginning, the network
radio
struggled
star.
because the music video
You know why that song is significant?
I know I know that.
Is it about Bruce Lee's son? Hey.
Video Killed the Radio Star was the very first music video on MTV,
Custard remade it.
which makes perfect sense. Video Killed the Radio Star.
That's why I said Bruce Lee's son.
ICP did a thing on
He was
MTV,
on
but they
radio
never
star.
like.
It wasn't what?
He wasn't a radio star, so
Yeah.
makes sense.
library was somewhat shallow. More and more artists started making music videos, and the additional exposure in the
Did
video
Eminem
format
do
on
those?
MTV could propel these artists into superstardom. Michael Jackson became the king of MTV with
And then
his
he
hit
bleached his
videos
skin.
such as
Long-ass
Billie
video.
Jean, Beat It, and Thriller. The
God, this
network
is
brought
Thriller.
success to newcomers such as Madonna and Duran Duran, but it
Who's
also
that?
renewed life to veteran performers
That's
such as
the girl.
ZZ Top,
Madonna.
Peter
Those
Gabriel,
are the-
and Tina Turner.
That's Marilyn Monroe.
Later in the decade, the channel featured
We're not gonna
specialty
talk about
shows
that,
such as Headbangers Ball, Yo MTV Raps,
Headbangers
and
Ball.
Remote Control. By the mid to late 90s, the original channel was airing
cringe.
programming that had nothing at all to do with music.
My boy
But to
tried to
80s
look like
kids,
Michael Jackson
MTV
with
will
it.
always be a special memory.
They run it.
Keeping up with the time was important, but so was looking cool. And that is where Swatch watches come
She
in.
said those
The
were
watch
magical.
industry was suffering
Yeah,
due to the rise of
thank
digital
you.
quartz watches. They were much cheaper to produce and purchase by the consumers. In order to combat this new trend, Swatch came out with some new fashionable watches that made wearing them totally cool. They came in all sorts of colors and designs.
It was cool.
YouTube is the new
Plastic.
home of NFL
The
Sunday
cheap
Ticket.
ass one.
Watch all your favorite NFL
That's what
teams
G-Shock's
out market
are,
Sunday
yeah.
afternoon games.
What?
Some people even chose to wear more than one. They were meant to appeal to the younger generation, and many people collected them. One other popular
Oh, that
trend
was
was
cool.
rubber bands that would cover the
Yeah.
watch face and protect it. These also came in an array of colors, and many
Reminds
people would
me of
have two
Ray-Ban. They're
twisted
not
across the
Ray-Bans, they're
face of the
Silly
watch.
Yeah.
Swatch watches are still being made
Silly
today,
Bands are good.
although they aren't quite as popular as they were in the
Crazy they're still making
1980s.
them.
It's crazy she knows what silly bands are.
1980s
Of course I know what
was
silly
all
bands
about
are.
hair.
We was in
Many
elementary school.
different
for like
styles,
that.
and
So
what
was
you chose
me.
to do with it
First
said
grade,
a
I
lot
had
about
silly
who you
bands all
were.
the time.
Maybe you went
Mom
for the
tried to
rocker
do that to my
look,
hair. Oh my god.
But some of the more popular styles
Mom
were
didn't
the
try to
mullet,
do that to
high
your
top,
hair. You
yuppie,
had silly
jerry
hair
curls,
day.
or the
And it
asymmetrical
sucked
side.
because I had a hoodie
No matter
on
what you
all
had,
day.
it had to be big.
Alyssa
Many
Milano.
women in the 80s crimped their hair like Debbie Gibson, or
You were
wore it
just
curly
crimping your
like
hair
Whitney
cut
Houston.
yesterday.
In order to
No.
look
80s
good, it
bad.
took lots of hair products, and the most popular one was hairspray. Tons of Aquanet hairspray was used
Dad.
in order to get those big wings and tidal wave bangs.
Jessica Parker.
The 80s was all about going
Sarah Jessica
big,
Parker.
and the bigger it
Yo,
was,
are
the
those
better.
those guys from Scooby
I'm
Doo?
sure that anyone who had stocks in Aquanet
Turner.
became super rich after the 80s. For a while, it seemed like a
Whoa.
She did
competition.
not have a good
You could
picture.
grow it
man.
longer,
She looks
make it
stoned or
stand up
something.
taller. Mullets seem to be making a
God
big
bless
comeback,
sexy
but the
people.
huge
Yeah,
hair fillets
fucking
is
Patrick
still a
Swayze.
thing stuck in the 80s.
Big
The
hair.
1980s was a special decade, especially for those that experienced it.
Kid
There were
play.
many items that changed the world forever. Some of these may be long
Yeah,
gone, but you
yeah,
never know when they'll reappear.
Billy
Just
Cowell.
like the mullet, the decade will never truly die. I hope you enjoyed this little walk down memory lane,
These
and
boys
make
look
sure
like
you
they
stay
could rock
tuned
today.
because there will certainly
Like
be
that
a
style
part
still
2.
kind of in or back.
Thank you
in.
so much for watching.
Can we react to...
Alright guys, well that was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Y'all don't forget to check out our lives. Hit that notification bell so y'all know when we go live. We will be giving out 3 more of the limited edition shirts coming out 2024 guys. Man, let's go. Y'all stay tuned. As always, it's your boy Mike.
Shaylee.
It's Cameron, y'all. Y'all have a good one.
Let's go guys.